Alicia Webster, who was severely mauled by a shark as she was emptying herself in the sea, has arrived at her final torment. An attack by a shark could be the result of any number of different things, some of which are more common knowledge than others. For instance, we are all familiar with the stories of surfers being attacked because they look like seals from below. And we also know that a splashing motion might attract sharks, believing that it is a struggling or injured animal. Aside from the obvious, there is a new study that is still being done to indicate some potential dangers for shark attacks, such as blood in the water, or, even more eerily, human pee. It is conceivable that this is the reason why 7-year-old Alicia Webster, who was visiting New Zealand at the time, was attacked while she was swimming there. The occurrence has almost certainly resulted in some degree of dispute. New Zealand is not exactly known for its history of shark attacks because the country has a low incidence rate and only a couple of reports of shark attacks each year. This may be one of the reasons why some sharks opt to attack humans. In spite of this, their oceans are home to over 70 different kinds of sharks, the most infamous of which is the great white shark. Because of this, some people choose to steer clear of the water altogether, while others look to it as a place to find refuge. The Webster family were avid sailors, and in 2005, they made the decision to sail their yacht all the way to Malakula in order to spend some time on the water away from their normal routine. They were close friends with the Morecambe family and had a passion for sailing, so they decided to charter a yacht together. They were used to borrowing boats from one another in the past, but recently they came to the conclusion that they should just share a boat instead, which would also allow them to take vacations together. During this journey, how did they pass their time on the open ocean? They arrived on the shore, and Le Pen Tillerson, who was a teacher and lived on the island, greeted them as soon as they got off the boat. When he observed Alicia swimming in the water, he gave his family a stern warning that they shouldn't let their daughter swim in the ocean because it was a common place for sharks to hang out. They warned Alicia to get out of the water once more, but this time they appeared upset by Le Pen's intrusions. They hoped that if they complied with his warnings and showed that they understood the hazards, they would be left alone if they were satisfied that they had understood the situation. Despite the fact that they had just finished eating, the family went back into the pool once they had finished their meal. Le Pen made her way back to the family in order to give them a second and final warning about the threats that the sharks posed to them. The rest of the family was left to have fun at the beach while Le Pen went back to his home. After Le Pen had been hidden from view, the family would shortly make a catastrophic mistake that would result in the loss of the life of Alicia, who was only a child at the time. Because Grant and Sherry Webster were sure that Le Pen was exaggerating the situation, they encouraged their daughter to try swimming again by letting her know that she might return to the water. So, why should their daughter be excluded after they sailed all the way here? They sat on the shore as they watched their daughter paddle in the shallows, happy that they had raised such a water-confident child. She loudly announced to them that she needed to pee, and they assured her that it was okay if she peed in the ocean because that's where it would end up eventually anyway. They kept an eye on her, but trusted that she was finally attacked by the shark. She screamed for Alicia's father as she breached the surface of the water and returned to the surface of the water after she had submerged. Everyone was panicking, and the children were running away from the sea in fear, trying to escape the blood that was gradually turning the shoreline crimson. He took her out of the water and laid her on the sand, urgently attempting to stop the blood that was flowing from her. Everyone was panicking. The children were trying to escape the blood that was gradually turning the shoreline red. He dragged his daughter out of the sea and placed her on the beach, where she was safe from further harm. Although it was evident that Alicia had been attacked by a shark, her parents were unable to put together the pieces of the puzzle regarding the nature of the incident. At this moment, the only thing that mattered was attempting to save their daughter, even though they hadn't seen the shark that had taken her. In fact, they hadn't even seen the shark that had taken Alicia. Unfortunately, Alicia was declared dead upon arrival at the hospital, and unfortunately for her family, there was nothing that could be done for them. Alicia was returned to the mainland by her parents and Grant, who had picked her up after she had been rescued by the dinghy that was attached to their yacht. As soon as they reached the shore, they waved down a passing truck and pleaded with the driver to take them to a hospital when they showed him the lifeless and emaciated child that they had brought with them. They were transported to the nearest hospital by the driver. If only they had taken the time to listen. The residents of the community were left in utter disbelief when it was revealed that the child had passed away. They attempted to determine the species of shark that was responsible for the attack, but since Alicia was the only person who was able to see the attack itself, there was no way for them to determine the species in the days that followed the incident. Canoeists who were local to the area reported seeing a giant tiger shark paddling around in the waters where the child had been attacked, which led many people to the conclusion that this was the shark that was responsible for the attack. Because there was also a sighting of a great white shark just 2 days before the incident, it is extremely unlikely that we will ever understand what caused her death. Despite the fact that we still don't know one of the most crucial details, her body was hastily brought back to her family so that they could pay their respects and remember their child as the joyful and carefree child that she was, rather than the gruesome way in which she passed. Her family wanted to be able to remember their child as the happy and carefree child that she was. In spite of these specifics, there is still one aspect of the situation that we are not aware of. Why did the mystery shark even bother to go after Alicia when she was just a little kid in the first place? To be more specific, do sharks find the smell of human urine appealing? And if so, does this possibly make them more likely to attack? It is common knowledge that sharks are attracted to the smell of blood in the water, but they are not nearly as interested in the smell of urine in the water. This is because the smell of urine does not indicate that someone is hurt in the same way that the smell of blood would. It is possible that Alicia was the one who tipped off the shark that killed her, alerting it to the fact that she was in the E and prompting the shark to come investigate. Other swimmers recounted feeling the shark pass underneath them without attacking them. Thus, it is surprising that the animal seemed to beeline towards Alicia. Alicia may have been swimming close to the shark when it attacked her. If it were merely hunting, it would have attacked the children who were in the deeper water, since it would have If it were merely hunting, it would have attacked the children who were in the deeper water, since it would have had an easier time overpowering them and dragging them under the water as it waited for them to drown. However, it represents a little girl who was along the beach, where it would have a less effective chance of killing her. Some would argue that urine would actually dissuade a shark from attacking, as it would interfere with its ability to smell blood, which is its main target. The attack on Alicia begs to differ, and her death serves to remind people of the mystery of shark behavior the next time they swim off to pee in the water.